Hello, everybody. Today, I'm very happy and very pleased to have here Kristi. She is going to share how she did an amazing job landing a remote job during the pandemic. I know it's not easy. I know a lot of people are still struggling with landing jobs, especially remote jobs, especially in the area that you want to work, totally aligned with your previous experience and all of that. So she's going to share all the secrets with us, and hopefully everyone watching will be able to benefit from that. So Kristi, thank you very much for your time.
Hi, Juliana. Nice to talk to you. Thanks very much for interviewing me. So I'm just going to introduce myself.
Yes.
Kristi, I'm originally from Germany, and I've been working as a localization manager for a few years. That basically means being a project manager for translations. I've been in that industry remotely for about 2 years. And before that, I would say like 7 years, kind of right after I finished studying linguistics. I basically translate things or have things translated, deal with a lot of content, write content, and work with freelance translators, and make sure like the whole linguistic process is smooth.
That's good. I remember you told me that your previous job was a maternity leave, right? A temporary contract. You were working there for 2 years until November last year, right? November 2019. Okay. And then when this contract was over, you decided to take some time off to travel. Is that correct?
Exactly. So my contract was 2 years maternity cover. It was initially 1 year, and then we made it 2 years, and it was remote as well. So I was traveling as a digital nomad at the time, and I was kind of sad that it ended because I really liked the job, but I didn't like the industry so much. It was IT and tech, and so I was kind of okay with the contract ending and thinking I worked enough, I saved some money, have some money put aside, and I'm gonna do more traveling. And I kind of didn't want to be I was a nomad, but I was still like an office job, so sitting on my laptop all day long.
Okay.
And I thought I wanted to do something else, something physical, maybe doing work away, gardening, permaculture. I went on nomad cruise. That's why I also kind of thought this is a perfect time to end this job and just start something new.
Nice. That was November last year. You took some time off, and then February, March this year, you started searching for a new job, which was already in the middle of the pandemic, right?
Yes.
So when you started searching for a job in February, March this year, did you already had since the beginning, like everything clear in your mind towards the kind of job, the industry, the position, and all of that, or things were not completely clear at the very beginning?
I wouldn't say I had like the perfect goal. I had this sort of dream or vision in my head of thinking like, I like localization. Localization jobs are mostly in the industries that I'm not really excited about, and I'm always drawn to health and wellness, being like very mindful, doing lots of yoga and cooking. I'm a vegan, and that's kind of my dream industry. And I thought, well, if I could combine that, but I wasn't really thinking that I actually could. I was kind of thinking, well, I'm probably
too hard. Not possible.
I kind of thought, well, if something opens up in that area, that would be great. But I was worried that I might end up in the tech industry or software, whatever, again, because I started applying for these kind of jobs out of necessity, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
I was also thinking about doing freelance work, but the bureaucracy kind of put me off a little bit. So I was kind of exploring both.
Okay. Yeah. So you somehow knew which kind of industries you didn't want that much, like IT. You knew the things you like. You're considering freelancer, so you had a lot of things on the table at the beginning. Okay. Yeah. I remember you also mentioned that you felt frustrated. There was like a frustration feeling when you started this process, and why is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I mentioned. So I kind of thought, okay, I won't find the perfect job, probably not even now in the pandemic, and traveling is kind of not possible. Well, not really the way I wanted to. So I thought I'm going to stay home in Germany for a while. I have a little home base here for the first time in years, which was a good coincidence for lockdown that I actually had a place to stay, not stay on my parents' couch.
Yeah.
And the frustration was basically thinking, I don't really know my options. I was registered for unemployment, like job seekers. So yeah, you kind of have pressure as well. So you're not like thinking, well, I can take months and years to figure out my vision or whatever. You kind of have a little bit of pressure, not much, but you know, you kind of have to prove that you're making an effort. So I thought I'm going to apply for lots of jobs that I'm qualified for, not necessarily the industry that I want, but I applied for these jobs. And the frustration was kind of thinking like, I'm going to end up in that same sort of job that I'm not super interested. That would be okay, wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world. But I felt like I wouldn't really be a step further. And I feel like I wanted to take another step, especially after like doing Nomad Cruise, meeting inspirational people, traveling, and kind of thinking, I want to change industries, but like, how realistic is that? It's just like my dream.
It's so important when we identify those things, like what is a step forward in my career, which areas I want to work, which industry, which position. That's a very important process, and sometimes we feel frustrated, but I think that helps to get clarity towards what to do next, right? And check the reality. Is it possible to find what I'm looking for, or is it unrealistic? But I understand that there was a frustration at the beginning, but still you were applying for jobs, you start doing interviews and all of that. So do you remember in general words, which were the most common steps that you were following? Like, I don't know, every company was asking for a video curriculum first, or they were sending me a translation test. I don't know. Do you identify any pattern in the process that you have been through?
So I applied mostly for jobs that I found on LinkedIn. So I was basically just uploading CV, cover letter, just the usual process. I didn't hear back from many because many told me like, thanks for reaching out, but we are like in coronavirus times now.
You know what to do, we're not hiding and all of that.
Might hold that job off and get back to you in a few months, which they probably wouldn't actually do. So that was a bit like, okay, well, this is not a good time. But then I also thought maybe this can be great because I have remote experience. Lots of people are working from home now. So I specifically said in my applications, I'm a remote worker, and
that was
in the time I'm very experienced with these kind of circumstances, working from home or finding myself in like new situations, and have no problem with that, not being in the office or being around the people who know everything.
You wrote that in your curriculum very clearly. Okay. Also on LinkedIn, did you mention that on LinkedIn too?
On LinkedIn, I said like I'm a digital nomad looking for new opportunities, that sort of thing.
Did you notice any change? Like, did it increase the interest of the companies after you stated that?
Some. So I only had like 3 actual good interviews. Everything else, you know, nothing really happened. So, and the 3 that I had, they were actually quite happy about that. And they said, so you're already used to this. So when you're by yourself, you know how to reach out, how to use like calls, how to share your screen. Well, I think that I thought everyone can do that are quite easy. But apparently
not.
They can do all these things and have done all these things in your day-to-day business, and you don't rely on going over to your colleague's office to ask him, her, you know, these kind of things. So they were like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Good that you experienced with that. I was surprised because I thought these are quite easy things.
But that's the point. Sometimes we take for granted the things that we know, right? The skills that we acquired working in one industry or working a certain way, like working remotely. So we take for granted that everybody knows how to use Zoom. I mean, probably at this time, everybody knows, or most of people. But a few months ago, like doing an interview or a meeting like that was very scary for a lot of people. And we have been doing that for months. So it's interesting when you start going for a recruitment process, you realize, wow, that's a skill I had, and I haven't realized that I have that. So.
Exactly. So I made sure to stress the skill of being able to work remotely, of being an like experienced remote worker. I stressed that in my applications for sure.
More than ever, that's important, definitely. So how long does it take when, since the moment you started searching for the job, which was February, March, right, until the moment that they confirmed you, okay, you are hired, you're approved, we want to hire you? How long the whole process took?
So I started, I think, February, March. I can't really remember when exactly. And signed the contract in July. So for this company, I had to do a little introduction video as well, which I filmed. They were quite interested in your general lifestyle, not just your work skills. So
that's nice.
like I cook a lot. I vegetables in my own garden, which I've been doing a lot in the Corona times, gardening and things. So the healthy lifestyle, they were interested in that because they're a health and fitness app.
That's
I
nice.
filmed myself running and doing yoga, and it was quite like a personal introduction video as well, and a normal application as well.
And it was aligned with the kind of things you wanted to do, right? You said, I was working in IT, I didn't really like the industry, I'm interested in other things. So it looks like this company value also the things you value, like the cooking, the health lifestyle and all of that. So there was an alignment there.
Exactly.
Right.
So and I was showing that in the video, and then I had a trial day, which was kind of like a remote work day, which was quite similar to what I'm doing now. So they were showing me all the tasks. They gave me like little examples to work on, and that was great. So I already felt like, okay, this is cool. I like these people. I like the job. So
it can work.
It's going to work out. Yeah.
Nice. Was there any interview? Because it was the video that you recorded and sent, and then the trial day, or there was an interview or any other step in the between?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, there were 2 interviews with HR, and they were like video interviews. Yeah.
Okay, good. So the video, 2 interviews with HR, the trial day, and anything else after that?
After that, I talked to the founder of the company as well, because they made this decision that they wanted me, and then he wanted to get to know me as well before I signed the contract, and so I talked to him. So yeah, it was quite a few steps.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Which elements do you think that helped you in the process? Was there more elements that you, now looking back, you identified that, okay, I think this was key to land this job, that was important, that helped me in the process?
They were definitely looking for someone who's quite international, who has lived abroad for a while, who's like, because when they see that, or when you talk about that, they feel like, okay, you're used to like be outgoing, to be around different people, be in different situations, and maybe overcome language barriers as well, and cultural things, because I'm working with translators from all over the world, so they want someone who's a bit international.
And again, that's something that we might take for granted. I have been traveling, I lived abroad, like that's nothing, but no, that's a lot. That's a lot. Nice that they were valuing that.
Yeah, so they definitely said they were looking for someone who studied abroad and lived abroad for a few years. And just when I read the job application, it gave me new hope, because that was the only the job post, not into application. When I read that, I thought, this sounds like it was created for me, and I really want this job. So I was motivated a lot to apply. And other jobs, as I said, I read that and I was like, that's kind of,
I can do, but it's not really
motivating. But I don't even mind if they don't take me, because I'm not too keen on this job.
Again, it's so nice when there is this alignment, like I am exactly what the company is looking for, and the more I dig about the company, the more I get information about them, more I feel like I belong. And that's the feeling you had when you did the trial day, right? It's like, that's it, I want to work here, so I want to talk to the founder and all of that. So it's very nice. Unfortunately, that's not the reality for everybody. Sometimes, like you were doing before, you're doing a nice job, but in one industry that was like, not really motivated. So good that now there is this alignment with your interest and all of that. Good.
Yeah, and I think that's why I convinced them as well, because I was passionate in my application. They saw my passion. They were like, wow, that really blew us away, your video. And I don't want to brag too much, but they said like that was the best video they had seen in a long time. And I was like so happy about that. So I thought, well, I carried that passion into my application. And sounds cheesy, but I haven't had that situation before. Before I had just wrote normal applications and got a job, and it was fine, but this time it was really, really cool.
As you mentioned the video again, let me ask you, some people are not familiar with recording videos in the application process, right? So this is something that I have seen happening more often. So more and more companies are asking for that, sometimes as the very first step, like your case, sometimes further on the process, but more and more companies are like, okay, so now you have to record a video about yourself. Sometimes they ask a specific question. Sometimes they put a time, like between 1 minute and 3 minutes, whatever. So any tips from your side for people who are asked to record a video interview, a video reply, a video presentation, something like that in the recruitment process? Any tips on that?
Yeah, so it depends on what they're asking. So for me, they were interested in like personal things that kind of tell us something about yourself. So I think it's very good to do something active, not just sitting on the couch, maybe film yourself talking, but why don't you like go for a run, film a few seconds, do like an off tone. So kind of, I had to, well, my boyfriend is videographer, so that's quite good.
That helped a lot.
Not, it's probably quite easy to learn a few skills on YouTube and to know how to cut video, and then just do something that's a bit more exciting and also kind of professional in the same way. So kind of, you know, prepare yourself. So I wrote everything down that I wanted to say, but I didn't hold my letter here and read it. But
you
kind
prepared.
of,
That's different than reading.
Yeah. Practice in front of the mirror, get like comfortable so that it all sounds natural. So you put the work in to make it sound natural. So I played around with that. And it's actually quite fun to do it. Like definitely think, not be scared, like I have to do a film now, but kind of think like, what are my qualities? How can I present them best? And have fun with it. I think they can tell.
Yeah, probably the energy, the motivation, all of that. So that's the main thing about the video, because whatever is written in your curriculum or in your LinkedIn profile, they can read it there. So when we come to the video part, it's more like, let me get to know you, your personality, the way you communicate, the way you express yourself, what things you like, how you show passion or not for the job, whatever. So all those things you can see. Yeah.
And I would say also check, I mean, it really depends on the position to see if is the company quite formal, then I would do it in a more formal way. If you see at my company now, they're quite laid back, they're all into sports, they're into like healthy lifestyle, so they're very relaxed.
So it made sense to do the video the way you did. Yeah, but that's important. If it's a very formal company, maybe the recording myself running is not the best option. So
exactly. You maybe sit down in a suit and with a tie, and it's just a different setting. So definitely like find out what they're like.
Yeah. And also in this process, you figure out if you fit in that kind of company, because if you're a more relaxed person and you like another kind of environment, and at this point when you're investigating to record a video, you realize like they are too formal, you might ask yourself, do I fit in this kind of environment, right? Is this actually the kind of place I want to work? So it's not only about recording the video, but it's all the things you put together to see if you feel like I fit in this company. That's where I want to work. That's what happens to you, right? You're like, okay, that's exactly that's me, and I think I fit perfectly. But some people might find out in the process like, that's too formal or that's too informal for me. It's okay. It's a discovery process. It's not just doing a task that they're asking for. It's like, it's part of the process that you evaluate the company and you make your decision also if you want to go for it or not.
Definitely. I would say every interview that you get, like even if it's for a job that you don't like, gives you good practice. So I had interviews with companies where I was a bit like, well, not too keen to work for them, but I don't have any options, so I might actually have to take it. So I better like put an effort into this. So show my best self and get motivated, even about this.
Your practice, the interview, selling yourself, talking about your skills, see what the market value more. So it's always a learning process. If you have the time, if the situation happens, it's like, okay, let's give it a try.
So I didn't turn anything down. I was open to these things as well, even though I wasn't that excited. But I didn't tell them, obviously.
But internally you made your choice. That's important. Yeah, very nice. So to finish our interview, thank you again for all the information that you shared. That was really, really nice. And I'm sure people are watching and they're like, I wish I was as lucky as she was, and I wish I could land a remote job in the times that we are living. Some countries are still with the lockdown and all of that. Others are already moving ahead, but it's not the easiest time that we have lived so far. So any final tip, Kristi, any final comment from your side to people who are considering landing a remote job specifically?
I would say it's definitely good to put that on your LinkedIn profile, that you're looking for a remote job specifically. Yes. Mention that in like everywhere, in your cover letter, in your CV.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Show why you want a remote job. So not just because you want to work from home in your pajamas, but you're interested in other cultures, you want to travel, you want to explore, but you also want to give your best for the company, and you want to combine these two things, and you know how to combine these two things because you're experienced. So I would kind of focus on all the things that you have done that were abroad or that had something to do with traveling, and kind of mention like all the benefits. Not that you want to travel because you want to lie on the beach all the time, but mention the things that are fit to the company and why you travel, and these kind of things. So that's kind of the best tip, I would say. And also when you're searching for jobs, there are lots of websites. One always use like the tag remote for these jobs, which I didn't do in the beginning. I was kind of looking around everywhere, and specifically look for that on Indeed as well. Indeed and LinkedIn is what I used, and general search as well. But definitely like looking for remote specifically. What I also did when they weren't looking for remote workers, but they kind of had to because of Corona, I said, I know this is not a remote position. However, would you consider turning this into a remote position? Because we're in the times of Corona, we don't know how long this is going to take. I'm already experienced with the working from anywhere. Kind of maybe open up that discussion. So maybe they haven't thought about it before. And it would also be really good.
Sometimes if you don't ask, the no you already have, right? If you ask, you might have the opportunity to do that.
Because I noticed that some companies kind of put everything on hold and were like, we're actually looking for someone, but because of Corona,
we don't know when we can hire the person.
And then you could say, well, why are you doing this? Why are you not looking into this option of taking someone on remotely? Maybe we try this for 2 or 3 months, see how we go. And I could always kind of come to the office in between when it's possible again. And that depends on your situation. So I was open to saying
But bring in the idea. Maybe the company didn't think about it, or they don't know if you're considering that. So put the situation on the table, have a conversation. That's the best way to conduct the recruitment process. Open from both sides. It's not only the company's asking and you're answering. It's like, it's a dialogue. If I'm going to work there, I want to be able to share my ideas and talk about things openly. So that's a great tip.
So I think it's were the main things that I did.
Nice. And it worked. So congratulations once again. You are in your 3rd week, right? In the new job. Good.
Exactly.
Very nice. So thank you very much for sharing. Definitely people will have a better understanding about how was it from your side and learn from the steps you followed. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.